How you doing, folks? Mark Johnson, tech-snobs.com. I'm going to do a review on the Windows RT, just the software portion of the new Windows software. Now, a lot of things I do like about it. It's very fluid, very smooth overall. Microsoft has definitely done a good job with it, I would say, from an aspect of functionality. If you take just go over a few things. If you take your fingers and pinch, zooms out, shows you a lot of things of what you have as far as applications. Take your finger, drag it up, you see all apps comes up in the corner. Press on that, this shows you all your applications you have on the tablet. Pretty cool feature there. Another thing, if you swipe to the right, you have your instant search, which will searches everything on the tablet, which is very cool. Definitely like that. Swipe to the right again. As you notice, the time always shows with your battery life and your wireless performance. I click on share. You know, if I'm in an application where I can share items such as email and so forth, that pops up. Devices, you know, if you had your Xbox on or external drive or something like that plugged in, that will show up there. It gives you options to push content to that. Swiping to the right again, and then settings, you know, there's your wireless, your screen, your sound, notifications. And you have to swipe to the right and then hit power to actually power this thing down, which is interesting as well. And then at the bottom you have PC settings. And you click on that, and here's your personalization. You can have multiple users in Windows RT, accept notifications, search. This is a wide range of options. Very is literally just is pretty much Windows 8. It's just that it's just watered down to a point where you just literally can't install desktop applications. Which brings me to my next point, which makes this confusing, because since you can't install desktop apps, you still have access to the desktop, and it actually, in a lot of times, depending on what you're trying to do, it forces you to use the desktop. And I'll get to that in a minute, but I will show you a few other things you can do. Swipe your finger to the left, and this is the multitasking. It will bring you back to items you had open, which is pretty cool. If you swipe out and swipe back in, you see everything running on the taskbar, which is cool. And you'll like this too. If I take an app and then I pull it out, I can actually put it on one side and have like a split screen. Kind of reminds you a little bit of the Galaxy S3 if you ever use that. And then you can like resize it too if you want, which is really nice. I mean, I do like that feature. You can do that. And then if you want to close the app, you just take your finger and you swipe it down. And then that's pretty much that. So overall, I do like the functionality of Windows RT. The main things that get me is like whenever they force you out of Windows RT to the desktop. So we'll give you a good example when you do that. Let's say we're going to go to an application. Actually, we'll go to one application they tell a lot. Let's say, for instance, this has a full Office 2013 on it, which includes PowerPoint, OneNote, Excel, and Word. So we're going to click on Word. And as you notice, it jumped me right out to the desktop. And it's, as you can see, small X. It's not touch optimized. Good thing is, like for instance, with this, I can take something like a mouse. So I'm going to plug this. This is a Microsoft Touch mouse. I'm going to plug this receiver in the side, plug this up, and now I have full keyboard mouse capability. And it's pretty cool. You know, you can go through. I can even run Internet Explorer from here, which is actually completely different from the Internet Explorer that you'd be running inside the Metro Modern UI interface is what they call it. So it gets kind of confusing. It's like you have two different Internet Explorers. Like for instance, I'm gonna take you back and show you the original Internet Explorer, and this one looks completely different. Nice, cool gestures and so forth, but it's like, it's just a confusing thing, I think, for a user if they're not like a power user and they're looking to get a tablet, you know, kind of like an iPad. This definitely offers more functionality than an iPad. It's just that some things that force you to use the desktop, you can't do it with just a touch screen. And that's, if you're just buying this with no keyboard, no mouse or anything like that, it can be, a little confusing, to try to use this. So that's one part of it, I don't like. I do like, the overall, I like the idea of it, tablet operating system, But I just think they should have just got rid of the whole desktop, in itself, because it does make things confusing. Now, if you're a geek and I think it's great from an aspect. There's a lot of cool things. I tried digging in there. You can get to command prompts. You can, I hit personalize, and look, I found a way you can get to the control panel, as well. Let's see, for instance, like if I click on the control panel, there's a control panel, and there's just a lot of weird little wonky things you can get in here and mess around and do. I mean, look, there's system security. So it's kind of like, it's literally like your Windows 7 and so forth. You can get in and tinker around with stuff. Some things you could do, some things you can't. But it's just, those lines are never made apparent or pointed out to you initially. So it's kind of like a trial and error thing. And then the ultimate thing, let's say if you were to go to the web and you wanted to, let's give an instance. Let's see if we can find the app. And then, let's see, hold on 1 second. Let's try Skype. So let's say I went to Chrome instead. Let's say I want to try to save this. So it's going to download it. It's been downloaded. I'm going to hit View Downloads. I'm going to hit Run. Now watch what happens. Hit Run. This app can't run on your PC. And that's some of the confusion you get with Windows RT. It's just a thing where you can get in the desktop. You can do literally everything except for when you run in those old executables. Which is not meant to do. And it's weird because a lot of things in the background do tie in. And like I said, if you're really into the operating system and tinkering around, you'll find it interesting. But, going into music and Xbox music, and you can go into all these little, the folders, and you can paste music in, you can copy MP3s. But then obviously if you go to the actual music app, you can, it puts it there, and it's just like this is on top of the desktop, and that's what just kind of makes some things a little confusing, because it's like you may be thinking you're forced to use this Metro modern interface, but you're actually not. You can do things in the background, but you can't do them all the way. So it just that makes it a little bit confusing. I say for the average user, but I definitely think that overall, very nice product. I do like the thought of it, but I just think sticking to Windows 8 Pro, if you're looking for like a full desktop experience, is the way to go. And not to say that Windows RT couldn't be great. It's just, I think they just have to get rid of the desktop so you don't even know it's there, and you can do certain things. Like, I'll give you one more example. I'm gonna go to All Apps. I showed you like how Office works, so let's give you another, like, Remote Desktop. And then it forces you back out here. See, they just don't have an app that's in that Metro modern UI. So ideas are there, great thoughts. I think a lot of it basically comes down to just execution. I think they just have to get it finished overall. Another thing, as I plugged in the mouse, that works. Another cool thing is I plugged in USB key. You can read files off that. That works great. So from a functionality aspect, if you're trying to be productive, Windows RT will give you that ability to do that. It definitely, has a lot of features that a lot of other tablets don't have. It's just that a lot of things just basically, they're just not completely finished. And I think you give it the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to have the Surface Pro coming out soon. It's going to be interesting to see what that brings to the table, because it'll have a faster processor. It'll have, higher resolution screen, even though the screen looks great, but it'll be higher resolution. It will support pen touch, so it will be expanded much more than what Windows RT is on the Surface, with hardware and software that is better than this current model. Of course, it'll be more expensive, so hopefully Microsoft will get, as they keep cranking out these apps, they can get this up to snuff, and kind of, if they eliminate the desktop, that'd be great. So overall, Windows RT, mixed bag. It's smooth. Everything's great while you're in, this interface is just kind of like when you go into the desktop, it's kind of like what in the world's going on. So thanks for watching. Check out the site, tech-snobs.com. Also be sure to check me out on Twitter at @techsnob, and thanks for watching. Take care.